I had a conversation with someone. They noticed my hat, the three crosses, and asked if I was a Christian. And once I dispensed with the conversation that I've shared on another video about what do you mean by Christian and so forth, he understood, I understood what he meant. And he asked, how can you believe in that stuff? And how can you believe in God and things you can't prove? I said, it's an interesting point. I said, but here's the thing. The reality is that all cosmologies, all belief systems about the origins of the universe, of humanity, and the reason for that is none of us can prove empirically any of the theories we have. Nobody can prove empirically there was a singularity that came out of nowhere or existed outside of time and space. I've shared about that before. There's no proof of that. There's evidence that suggests that, but there's no empirical proof for it. So you can fill in the blank on any cosmology, including Christianity, and say the same thing. I cannot empirically prove there's a God. I have evidence, factual evidence in my life, and I see it in the lives of others that there's a God. But in the end, every cosmology requires a step of faith, every one of them. And he looked at me and he said, well, I don't believe in religion. I said, you're conflating faith with religion. I'm talking about the word faith etymologically. Faith is believing in something in spite of the lack of evidence. You can't prove singularity existed. You can suggest based on evidence that we have that it did. You can't prove abiogenesis. You can't prove that inanimate matter suddenly turned into animate matter. The list goes on. There are so many holes and flaws in both the Big Bang Theory as well as neo-Darwinism. But at the same time, in any religious belief, there are facts that can't be proven empirically. And so we talked for a little while, and then he said, okay, so what you're saying is that every human on earth has to take a step of faith in believing what they believe in terms of origins. So that's absolutely true. And I said, in the end, we'll all find out what is true, not what's true for each of us, but what is actually real and true. And he said, well, I never thought of it that way. I'll have to ponder that. That's exactly right. It's not a matter of suggesting that we're stupid because we believe a certain way, but what's really important is to admit our humanity. There are a lot of things that we can suggest exist, think exist, believe exist, feel exist, but in the end, there is an objective reality and truth that will and does exist. And so my encouragement to people when they talk about Big Bang Theory or Christianity or neo-Darwinism is to at least come to the common ground of every single belief system like that requires a step of faith. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Now, of course, I believe that God exists. God is real. God is eternal, the God of the Bible. And I see evidence of it in my life, that I will see him face to face. And I live my life accordingly. People that believe in the Big Bang Theory and neo-Darwinism live their life accordingly. But I try to get people to at least admit the reality that we all take a step of faith. Anyway, something to think about and ponder today. Hope you have a good rest of the day.